Greetings, dear ones. The spiritual life has never been easy. Even with the people who have transcended all the obstacles and have transcended the so called lower aspects of life or the pain and suffering and all that. I have seen so many mystics or so many saints who have reached to that level where now nothing affects them. But when I look deep into their life journey, I can see immense suffering. I have seen immense suffering in their life, and the journey has not been very easy for them. It's been very, very rugged for them. But I feel this is a very common aspect for all the beings who are on the spiritual path, especially who are nearing their end of the gross life. The grossness when it ends and more of subtleness happens and more of they evolve into something beautiful. When they are evolving from all the lower natures, it's a very, very intense kind of a journey. I can see the pain and suffering that they go through, especially in the final stages and when they are nearing that kind of where they are nearing the moments of liberating from that lower consciousness. The transition has been always very difficult. I have not seen anybody just sitting on a chair and everything happening just like that, or life happening very easily. There may be, but there are very less. So why I'm talking this is because on and often I keep on meeting with a lot of people, and my own life is an example of immense suffering that I've been through in this lifetime. Right from my childhood, it's not been easy, and the kind of struggles and turmoils that came with this life, I could explain only after a certain point of time, after entering into the spiritual zone and understanding and realizing how these things work. So now it doesn't make much of a difference, but once upon a time it did make a lot of difference, and that is the time I was seeking desperately for help. And many divine beings, including my master, they came for help. They picked me out of that ditch, and it was a hell lot of work. And I'm having immense gratitude to all those divine beings, my master mainly, and after that, including many other masters who, on and often, at very different point of time in my life, have appeared at the right time and given me direction and given me guidance and given me support, given me healing, given me protection and all that. It never ends. So I'm sharing this video to make you know that you are not alone in this journey. It might seem very intense, it might seem very groggy, but if you are on the path, mark my words, sooner or later things are going to ease out. And it depends on your persistence. So it's very important that you persist, come what may. One such soul I just came to my mind was, I was writing a small article on her, Ushaji, of Auro Usha Restaurant, who is in Tiruvannamalai. That restaurant is right in front of Sheshadi Swamigal. I have often spoken about this restaurant and often written about this and shared a lot of insights, things, and many mystical, beautiful things have happened. I have met beautiful people there, including Muji. It was in this restaurant only. So I find that restaurant to be something very powerful, very, very powerful. And for a long time, something has been very much attracting me and pulling me towards that restaurant. I spend most of the time in Ramana Ashram and a little in Sheshadi Swamigal, but I never miss to go in that restaurant, and I frequently visit in a day at least 2 to 3 times, of course, for my meals and or refreshment, something like a juice or a herbal tea or something like that. I go there on and often, but I find myself sitting there for hours together in my awareness, or contemplating and reflecting on something, or maybe even reading a book, or I am in satsanga with like-minded people. A lot of like-minded people I meet, and that's one table, that's one place that we sit and discuss a lot of higher spirituality in depth, and we contemplate, we reflect, and we enjoy those moments. We relish those moments, being connected to that divine vibration of Tiruvannamalai. So I have written only in little in bits and pieces because this lady named Ushaji is from Orissa, and I wanted to curiously talk to her. I don't know for what reasons, and I kept talking to her, and slowly it revealed to me that she herself revealed to me, probably because I was meeting her a couple of times and we became familiar and she was comfortable enough to share a lot of things. She started sharing about her journey, being married to a German man who was an ardent devotee of Ramana Maharshi. And he served most of his life in India, in Tiruvannamalai, after coming off from Germany. But he was married to Ushaji, and Ushaji is strangely from Orissa. All the way she has come from Orissa. She was born and brought up there, and somehow she found herself wandering towards Puducherry, and she went to Auro Usha Ashram, and she was thinking that she is destined to spend her life there. And by the time she was settling down there in Auro Usha Ashram, she had a strange dream in which one mysterious person, some yogi or a saint, I don't know exactly, guided her to go or instructed her to go to Tiruvannamalai. And Tiruvannamalai, she was telling me, I don't even know the T of Tiruvannamalai. I didn't even know the spelling, and where it exists also I don't know. So somehow some hints were given to her, and some kind of forecasting was done, foretelling was done as to how she would meet her husband. And I'm not going into detail, but it's a big story, because it's this I have covered it from many visits there. So I'm just briefing it up, because I feel it is important that we know the divine people who are walking in plain clothes, who are being just amongst us. It doesn't need to be a mystic all the time. There are mysterious people living amongst us who wouldn't make a pomp and show about it, or who wouldn't even reveal their true nature. That's why I said we never know the consciousness of people or of anyone just by looking at them, looking at their outer structure, looking at their outer behavior will take you nowhere. You cannot conclude based on their behaviors and attitudes and characteristics and personalities, because behind that may be someone divine or evil, someone. So we cannot conclude. So this is my this is the reason that I'm making this video, that we should bring out these things, because these are our inspiration. When I listen to a story, when I talk to her, she's like a kind of inspiration to so many. She can be so much of inspiration to so many. I am persisting her to write a book, but she's somehow shying away all the time. But she's a beautiful soul. She's a very humble-hearted soul, and she has been always sharing a lot of things, and she shared a lot of things to me. So she went to Auro Usha Ashram, and from there she got this direction, and she came here, and she was even told that some yogi or some saint will guide you further. And that also happened. Actually, a mysterious old man walked into her place and guided her for what to do. And all the instructions were given, and she was supposed to begin a hotel there, a restaurant. And right in front of Sheshadri Swamigal. That also was hinted to her previously only. She was told it was going to be there. Though she didn't know about it much. She didn't know that she is a psychic person. She didn't know that she had this intuitive awareness, which was very natural to her. Probably from her former births it has come to her, and she didn't know about it. It took some time for her to realize that. So all that was told and all that was given to her in her visions and dreams started becoming true. And then she somehow managed to get that place where she was told not to take that place, because it was supposed to be a triangular kind of a plot, and it was supposed to be unlucky. Lot of people told her to stay away from that, and that is why the plot was not even selling, because it was supposed to be very unlucky, and it was very shrubby, very dirty, she says, almost deserted, almost isolated, abandoned kind of a place. And in my previous visit, she told me that while they were digging for the construction, there was a strange idol that was unearthed, and that idol was of Devi. So that idol was taken and kept. It was given a place there, a sthan. A place was given like a small temple there, and she began worshipping it every single day. And that idol had mysterious powers, and mysterious things happened. She was sharing in multiple experiences of her how that Shakti from that idol That idol, that deity was actually protecting her in many, many ways. The deity's name is Agala Parmeshwari. So it's a fierce form. It's a Ugra and deity. So I didn't know all this, and she said she did that, and it's kind of a protector and a divine protector of that place. After she told me this, I started, whenever I go into that hotel, I do go and offer my prostrations to the deity and take her blessings and then leave from there. This is I do every time. And this is in the garden space outside. The restaurant is there, and behind there is an open garden restaurant. And this is the exact place right in front of that idol only. Muji was sitting, and I happened to meet, and we had this divine encounter there. I took his blessings, and he blessed me, hugged me. All those things happened there, right in front of that idol. That time I didn't know it. So that's a very powerful place there. And this visit, she told me that Agala Parmeshwari you must visit, because this time she happened to tell of mysterious things that happened even when her husband, her husband is no more. He left his body a couple of years back. So now she's managing the whole thing. So she was telling the husband was coming from somewhere, and he was feeling little jittery, and he was on his bike, and he was traveling for a long distance, and he was about to lose his consciousness. So all that he was praying was to Agala Parmeshwari to protect him. And then he didn't know, he came very smoothly back to the place here in Tiruvannamalai. And then one day while Ushaji was doing the aarti, every day she does, she saw that somebody was going into a trance. One of her workers, probably in the kitchen, the lady who works, she was going into a trance, and she started speaking something. So she started speaking that, ask him, he was protected, he is protected. So that was actually indicating to her husband who was protected. So she never knew, and never did the husband talk about all this. So she went and inquired with the husband, what is this about? He was shocked to hear this, and he said, yes, I was thinking about Agala Parmeshwari actually on the bike, and she definitely did protect me. I mean, they came to know later on. So in many ways, many times such things have happened where the aarti is done and somebody in her place goes into a trance and it starts speaking. Now I'm not talking whether it's right or wrong and all those things, but I'm telling you about all these mysterious things, and this is real happening in Tiruvannamalai. People won't believe these things. That's why I'm particularly talking about it. So this time I was sitting with her and we were talking a lot on many other aspects. I was digging a lot because last 2 times I went there, she told me of mysterious things that happened in that space where she's and mysterious people that she encountered in her life journey, who was indicating to various milestones of her life, including Satya Sai Baba. See, Satya Sai Baba also, she and her husband went to meet Satya Sai Baba. They have had darshan, and strangely he has spoken for hours together with her husband. And even Satya Sai Baba had predicted that you will come here with your 2 children, and given other hints about her husband, of the business and all those things, and it all came true. It all came true. She has even had this vibhuti manifesting from the photograph of Satya Sai Baba, and she happened to give us in one of our visits. She gave me that vibhuti which manifested, and I gave it to my friends also, that same vibhuti. And very strangely, when I took that vibhuti and I returned to Bangalore, I happened to come to Bangalore, and I was supposed to meet Devi Amma. Very strangely, I went and met along with my friends Devi Amma, and then I realized Puttaparthi Sai Baba was in Whitefield. His ashram is still there in Whitefield, and Devi Amma also stays in Whitefield. She is very much deeply connected to Puttaparthi Sai Baba. She is very much. Even right now, internally, they are very much connected, and she is very much guided by him. In fact, some of our devotees also, the Western devotees also of Puttaparthi Sai Baba from Whitefield, they come and meet her and all go. Even Mohanji considers Devi Amma as his own mother, so he also visits her. So I was sitting with Devi Amma, and Devi Amma revealed a lot of things, a lot of mysterious things. I'll make another video, guys. With her permission, I am going to first ask her permission if I can share it. If she says yes, you will be amazed at the kind of information that she just blurted out. We were supposed to meet her for 15 minutes, but that day it went for almost 1.5 hours. She was kind enough to sit with us and talk and share a lot of mysterious things all about the astral worlds and how things happen, what's going on in the background and all those things. And she was just reminding me in her talk, saying that don't forget who you are. Be grounded and holding on to that reality of yours. Then she was trying to tell you are not what we are, not what we think we are. Our realities are different. And she was hinting a lot of other things, that many people come from many other dimensions. Not necessarily we are from this dimension only. We come from different planetary spaces, different dimensions, and we enter these zones. And she gave many examples of many Westerners and all that who have come, who are not really humans. So messier thing. I'll have to ask her permission to go more into detail, and she says yes. I'll make a separate video on that. Anyways, that day. We were talking, and this vibhuti was in my pocket. I was honoring that vibhuti and very glad to have it. And Amma was talking here. She's so connected to Puttaparthi Sai Baba, and the lights went off. So we spoke, and when we finished, I was going to ask Amma, can you recite a prayer for us? Because I have heard her mantra. You will go into trance if you hear it. I often listen to that. And I was about to ask her, and she only said, can we chant something? I said yes, and she read the Kavacham of Devi and Ganesha. It was beautiful in Tamil. She sang it literally for 5 minutes, literally, and 3 of us were sitting. All of us had tears in our eyes, all without even knowing that we were having tears. And by the time she finished, we were wiping our tears. That time I came to know, oh my God, everybody is tearful here. And then I asked Amma, lights is gone, now what to do? I wanted a photograph with you. He said, come son, we'll go there. There is an inverter there. So she took us to another room and she on the light, one simple light. And I said, I'll take a photograph so that I can remember. And I asked for her blessings. I was touching her feet. And then I see behind us was Puttaparthi Sai Baba's photo. A big long one. See, we went right under that because of that light thing for the inverter. We went there. And it was there in the video I've captured. I'll try to put it here. So that thing happened and we had a lot of fun that day, and it was blissful moments. So that is another story I got connected here. So Usha ji has met Puttaparthi Sai Baba, and she's very divinely connected. She has a lot of visions from him and a lot of guidance from him, and she moves according to that. Then apart from that, so many mystics in of Tiruvannamalai, great mystics. And she's very divinely connected to Amritananda Amma also, who went to Kollam and all that. And Amritananda Amma was here a few years back in Tiruvannamalai. She went and met her there also. So she's very close. She's very close to Muji also. Muji actually called her and spoke to her for hours and gave her a very precious divine gift of some little writings with his own beautiful handwriting and all that, which Usha ji shared with me. He said, you can read through this. And that is why I spent almost 1.5 hours in that restaurant just reading this. My train was in the evening, but I didn't want to go out. I was absorbed in that divine thing. So I did that, and almost 3.5 hours I spent only in the restaurant this time. And to tell you, there is more. I just want to tell you, but the time is so less, I don't know. There is so much to tell about her and her experiences. So Mukupudi Swami is another great siddhar who used to thrash, he used to move with the stick and thrash everything around, He used to walk into the temple and hit the deities and all that. They are of that stature of doots. They are one. They are one with that. Supreme. This examples you can see the way they thrash the idols, because that's a symbolic expression of what they are trying to say. The God is within, not in the idols. Mukupudi Swami was very much in Tiruvannamalai, and he used to always live around Seshadri Swamigal place, right opposite to this hotel. So she was telling once in my previous visit, when she went to Seshadri Swamigal's Jiva Samadhi and she was circumambulating, suddenly she found Mukupudi Swami also was moving around in front of her. And she was actually lost in devotion to Seshadri Swamigal. She was circumambulating, and Mukupudi Swami was right in front of her. She accidentally, because she was almost eyes closed, and Mukupudi Swami just stopped suddenly, and she happened to bump into Mukupudi Swami from behind. So he turns around and hits her hard on her forehead, very hard. And she says there was a loud sound like an explosion, and she just stood there like a stone, dazzled, not knowing what has happened. Something had just exploded here. And she said after that, many different things started happening to her, different psychic visions, and it was as though her third eye was opened. And she didn't understand that time. She was like, why did he hit me? I had met him twice when we were there in Tiruvannamalai. He is no more in the physical body. So Mukupudi Swami, all these mistakes, and there was Narayan Guru Ayya, a great mystic who for years together spent his life on the hill above and used to be seated in one spot only, so much fixed that his bones had become rigid and he couldn't move. And some things happened there, and he was supposed to leave that place from there, long back. It was some government orders and all that, and then he moved to Kanyakumari. He was a powerful avdut. So last time we went there and we meditated in his ashram. I didn't know there was a Narayan Guru ashram on top. I meditated and I often ask those guys, where is his samadhi? So they used to tell me Kanyakumari. I used to tell why he has done all his tapa here and why in Kanyakumari. They used to go, mom. They used to not tell. So this time Ushaji told me what exactly had happened, all the story, which I don't want to reveal now. So he went to Kanyakumari. He was taken by his own people to Kamari. He was a married man actually, but was living apart from his family for 30 years. So finally his family took him there into Kanyakumari, and he was there, and she happened to go to Kanyakumari because she in a dream was called by Narayan Guru Ayya. Ayya he is known as. He is not the same Narayan Guru of Kerala. Other person. I will try to put his photograph here also. So she was this time sharing with me. She went to meet Ayya, and Ayya had different tests, Narayan Guru Ayya test, because he didn't want everybody to meet. They were already troubling him here in Tiruvannamalai. So he was very particular. He had different kind of filters to prevent people from meeting him. And fortunately she went through all those things and she could meet. And finally when he saw her, see, they are not familiar with each other. But he appeared in a dream, she says. And when he came there, he just took the sand in his hand and threw it on her face, on her forehead. And she was very upset. She was like, what wrong did I do that he is so angry that he is throwing pebbles and sand and mud on me? So she didn't realize it again then. Then he ordered her, out of all those, the multiple, multitude there, sitting there, he called her and he said, you are going to cook food for everybody. She said, okay. And she went and cooked it since. And yesterday she was revealing all this, day before yesterday. She cooked with so much of love and all that. And she brought the vessel to be blessed, the dal to be blessed by Ayya so that she can feed. There were around 20 people, it seems, there. So what Ayya did was, he looked at the bowl, the dish, and he picked up again sand and threw on that dish. And she was again dazzled as to what is happening. He is very upset with me that he is not liked my cooking or something like that. Then he ordered for somebody to bring a bowl and to put dal for her. And the scoop was taken from the top only and given to her because the sand was thrown on top. So she was like, oh my God, I'm going to have all mud in my mouth. And she takes and eats it. And she was telling me not a single grain of sand was there in that. It was very delicious. She ate it. Now he ordered, go and distribute to everybody out there. The sand, I remember, when I was visiting Avdut Siddhappa, he had grounded a lot of biscuits and all those things on the mud ground inside the hut. It is all dirty. You can feel the mud, we don't wear chappals inside. We don't wear footwear. So when we go, we can literally feel the dust and the dirt and all that. Imagine, he got and he suddenly started pounding it on the floor, lot of it, and he used to gather all the things together and he used to pound more. And I was realizing, oh my God, this is going to be given to us, because whatever he does, he gives it to everybody. So I was like, that was my first visit. I said, oh my God, how to eat this now? And I was having this sensation, oh my God, it's going to be full of dirt. He came and gave it to everybody. And when I ate it, I'm telling you, not a single sand of grain was there. Single mud was there. If I move my hand like this on the floor, I would get the sand, the mud. But nothing in that grounded ones. I just remembered this. So Ayya ordered Ushaji to go and distribute the food. So when she goes out and she goes to distribute it to the people, she sees almost the whole village is sitting there. They have come for food. And she, very worried, runs back to Ayya and says, we cooked only for 25 people, and now we have such a... He says, just do what I say. He didn't hear further, and she just went. And she says, all of them just served from the bowls and the dal and the rice and everything. And she said, it never got over. Completely everybody was fully fed there. So this was one greatness of Narayana Guru, what she said. And then behind her was Cave Amma. Cave Amma used to live previously on the hill only. She still has her cave there. She has left it, but the cave is still there. So Om Amma is somebody who is always in bliss. She is known as Cave Amma also. If you Google, you will come to know Cave Amma or Om Amma. Om Amma because whenever she's always in bliss. She's always in blissful samadhi. And you can see the mark of Om on her head, which has spontaneously appears. It's shining Om. And she's always in bliss, in tears and in ecstasy. Her Bhava Samadhi, I think that's Bhava Samadhi. She's in that Bhava Samadhi. Tears flowing and blissful, always in bliss. So Amma lived in those caves and all that, and she was telling me, because I asked her, everybody, she has got photos of all the saints put around, including Bhagavan Nityananda also. It's there, everybody is there. So whom I don't know, I will ask, who is this? And she'll start telling the story about that person. That is how I asked about Cave Amma, and she said she used to live there. And when she came down, Ushaji went to meet Amma, and she just embraced her, it seems. She was not looking at everybody. She used to not look at anybody. Ushaji was telling me. I don't know why she was not looking directly. I told her that is because of the Tej. The Tej that mystic has, one who is always one with them, they never look into anybody's eyes, because you won't be able to handle that power that comes through that. They know it. People can just explode, because knowingly, unknowingly, if they look at someone, it can cause more harm than better. So most of these great mystics never look into anybody's eyes. Even Mukubadi Swami was that way. I used to always look for his darshan. One look, never. Achar Baba was that way, the Avadut whom I used to meet. Never used to look into the eyes. I tried to come in front of him, he would change. He used to never look into the eyes. So I told Ushaji, that's why, because they want to prevent that Tej. So Amma never looked at her, but whenever Ushaji used to come, she used to just hug her and then embrace her like a child, pamper her, put her on her lap, put her hands all over her face, and like a child. She's not in her body consciousness. So, and sometimes pick her and touch her forehead to hurt her and all those things and all, cuddling her like a baby. And he said, now Amma is not there. Amma is in a different place. She told me where she is actually, because she is now refrained from the person who takes care of Amma has moved her and is looking after her, but not in public vicinity. So she is refraining from giving any darshans or anything. But she is in her blissful state there. So all these saints, I was holding my head, every time I come, she has some beautiful story to tell me. And I go mostly in the afternoons and sit next to her in her counter. She has got a beautiful counter with all very comfortable sitting where 2-3 people can sit next to her also. So I look for, when there is no customers, I pick up my lime juice or whatever I have in hand and I go, or my sandwich, and I go and sit there and then we talk. And she is also very excited, because rarely are these things so openly talked about. So all these things, I was just dazzled to say. I was telling her, you're so blessed. I mean, this is not a one lifetime incidence. 100% she has been a person from Tiruvannamalai. I also can relate. I'm very close to Tiruvannamalai, and I know this is not my first lifetime here. There are so many indications very clear to me, very, very clear to me, that this is not my first lifetime here. And that is why these people also are like our extended family, Ushaji and so many others. And so many others whom we are meeting there. all those things happened, and she was telling one by one, and she tells it very casually, like sorry, it's like no awe factor in that, or no wow factor in that, because I think she has had so many experiences now that it has become a very casual and normal thing for her. So that's how it goes. One shocking thing that actually I heard this time, which prompted me to make this video, is this incident. She said when they were digging this, and she was telling me other things also, so that I don't forget, I'm telling things like sometimes there used to be earlier times when she was struggling to put up the restaurant, hold up the restaurant there, and sometimes there wouldn't be even cash for giving the electricity bill those days, and she used to always be worried, what now, what next. And in her vision, somebody used to appear, somebody or the other used to appear and assure her it will be taken care of. And she's sitting in her thing. She was telling me once, some amount of 8,000 or something, I don't remember exactly, 8,000 rupees or something electricity bill was there, and she was wondering, that was the final date and she did not have cash, and she was worrying what to do. She had this vision that it will be taken care of today or one particular day, whichever. And she was sitting on the counter, and one foreign lady just came, and Westerner came, and she walked into the restaurant, and she went and picked up some books. Ushaji has got beautiful books, many, like a library. She has fixed it, not for reading, but it's for sale, so you can purchase books also. So she walks in, she goes and buys books exactly of that amount, 8,000 something. Electricity bill, she keeps the money there and she walks out. So he was telling like this, hundreds of such experiences where she was constantly assured that you got to do. So she was told that karma yoga is her path. She has to serve the people of Tiruvannamalai in this way, in a different way. And I was telling her, it is not just as that, because as I can see, there are much more things that are happening. I said, there is something mysterious about this place, including the food. The food, something is there, something different, something different. I can't explain what, but I'm telling you, whenever I sit with my friend, we even have cheese sandwich, which I never have anywhere outside. I can't, because it's kind of deadly for my tummy. But there, I'm telling you, we have had like four sandwiches. Me and my friend, we had gone discussion, and we had absolutely no issues. Anything that I've eaten there has never caused me issues. I even told Ushaji last time, I had my friends, we had gone on the hill, on top of the hill, and we came down. My new friends, they had come for the first time and not very knowing about these things. So we trekked up and down, and they were very tired. So their legs were paining, they had not slept previous night, and all those excuses were going on. And they said, we want to go to the room and rest. I said, no going to the room, you guys stay here. Stay in this hotel. Come, let's go to the hotel. And the 2 hours that you're going to sleep there, don't sleep. Let's sit here. Let's talk. Let's be in this restaurant. Let's eat something. Let's get refreshed here. And I am assuring you, your energies will be revitalized, rejuvenated. I'm assuring you. Some did not. Some went away. Some of us were there. And I'm telling you, even I was feeling tired because previous night and I had not slept. Around 2 hours we spent there, and we were ready, full of energy, again bouncing here and there, going to the temple, full of energy. So I told this to Ushaji, there is something in the food. So it's not just about the doing seva in this manner, just like that. There is some ingredient that is moving through the food also in many ways, and many of the Westerners also come and eat there. That's the most preferred place for Westerners, at least. So there is something, it's like prasad. So I told her it's like prasad from this place. Then I realized the kitchen which is there, the kitchen is again placed in that garden restaurant where Agla Parmeshwari's idol is there. Right opposite to that is the kitchen, and in between is this. So there is some influence of some divine energy there. This is what I was telling her. And then further she goes and reveals to me another shocking incident, which she so casually tells, and I'm telling you, are you telling me this? Are you serious? She said, while the hotel was being built, and she had come to that place where the hotel is standing now, and right where the garden is there, the garden restaurant, what I'm talking about, in front of that Agla Parmeshwari's idol, center of that garden restaurant, there used to be a hut, it seems. She's telling me. There used to be a hut, and what? Not a hut on the top of the land, below. It was not even a hut, it was an enclosure. It was a dug space. The ground was dug, and some closure was there. And there was a man sitting in that for months and years together. He used to not come out. And the people said he's a madman. And they warned her, don't buy this land, because this land is, this person is very suspicious. He could be doing some voodoo stuff, some black magic and all that, some tantra and all that, the left hand tantra, I mean. So they warned her not to take that. But she went because she had a lot of indications, divine indication that she has to do that. And she somehow took that. And she said after buying the land also, she wanted to enter into that space to understand who is this and what to do with this person. But something used to prevent her. She couldn't enter that space at all. It was not a very big space also. So they all knew that this man is there inside. And then finally they brought the land and all that. And now they were wondering what to do. What to do? Because there's a man down there. How can they go with the construction? So hesitatingly, she goes to find what and to deal with it and to find out what better to do next. And when she opens, and they open the place, they see a pile of ash, a heap of ash. Meaning that Siddha, it was a Siddha who transmuted his body into ash, who turned into light. I had jitters and even right now I am emotional. I had just goosebumps when I heard that. Are you serious? Are you talking about this? What do you know what you're talking about? She said, yeah. Really, it's there, and we did not disturb anything. The ashes and all, we just closed it and let it be that way. I said, where is it? She said, it's still there down. I said, what are you talking about? She said, yes, it is there. I asked her the location and all that. She said, and then, I went and sat there. Literally. For some time, literally connecting to that divine sacred space. That space is exactly next to the kitchen. And in front is this Agla Parmeshwari. See, that idol also was found there. There is some connection. That being was doing something there. And see, that idol is still alive and Jagrat. And that Samadhi, it's a Jiva Samadhi, right under Auro Usha Restaurant. And exactly that place only I had met Muji. You're sitting right in that space. My God, I couldn't imagine. I had goosebumps, and then I thought, whom to tell all this? Who will believe all these things? Then I told her, this is a blessed land. I told you there is something. And no doubt I was always pulled to this restaurant. And no doubt I'm telling you, even this time, 3.5 hours I spent. I didn't go even to the temple. I was in that space. And most of the time I was talking to Usha ji, sitting near her counter. I wanted to share this because it's such a beautiful thing. Why should it be hidden from anybody? And if people can go there with more respect, people who understand that kind of a space, they can have more respect. Because as it is told, every place inside a holy place is like a shrine. Here is another example. And Tiruvannamalai, I'm telling you, it's there from Puranic times. There are lakhs of Jiva Samadhis there. Lakhs, I'm telling you. Lakhs of Jiva Samadhis unidentified. Don't even know, because most of the Jiva Samadhis will not be known. Because once the Siddha leaves, you don't know, they are underground. And cases like this, where they turn into ash, who will ever know until somebody can see it? The Virupakshi cave on top, where Ramana used to said, Virupakshi cave, it's still there. If you go on top of the hill, there is a heap of ash that they have preserved. That is of a Siddha, great Siddha named Virupakshi, who was from Karnataka. He had gone to Tiruvannamalai and he was meditating in that cave. How many years back? 800 years back. 800 years back he turned into life. It is still preserved there. Ramana used to always sit there. The value is known, it will have that kind of sacredness and respect towards it. I mean to say, that space is reverberating. And I thought I should mention this because if anybody goes there, they can have a different perspective of that place and different respect and also gain from there. It is sadhana, sitting there also is sadhana. You can sit in the garden there and spend your time, eat food and all that, whatever you want to, but in certain awareness. If you sit there in certain awareness, you will be able to connect to that tattva. So I said I must share, and before sharing, I just asked her permission on WhatsApp. Can I share something that she said, okay, Ji, no problem. She's very casual because for her it's very casual. It's been for us like we are enthusiasts, especially a person like me. For whole life I've been hunting Jiva Samadhis. It was I think around for 12-13 years I have been only hunting Jiva Samadhis. Hundreds of Jiva Samadhis visited, and including all the 18 Siddhas. Me and my friends have visited all the 18 Siddhas Jiva Samadhis at all the locations except Machendranath and Gorakshanath, because they have more than one. They are like 9 to 11 Jiva Samadhis. They go, they come back in a different form. Again they take Samadhi. So they don't have a particular limited place. So apart from that, we have visited everywhere. Anyways, coming back to Auro Usha, this is a divine restaurant. You may go there for food, you may go there for recreation, rejuvenation, or even tapas. Don't sit there doing tapas, because that's a very brimming place, busy place for customers. They come and go there, and there is always flow of customers. So you can find some time, morning times or late afternoons. There are times when there is no customers, not much customers. So those moments you can go and sit there with a snack or some juice or some tea or something that you like, and sit there in awareness. And I'm telling you, you will benefit from it. I have benefited all these visits, and that is one place that I also like to visit, along with the other shrines and caves and all that. Okay, what I forgot to add here is that Usha ji is from Jagannath Puri, Orissa. That's her birthplace, and she has come from there. And she also shared her incidents, how she was able to go into that space, sacred space in the Garbhagriha, and do the arti or whatever worship is there, which is really not allowed there. So she didn't boast about it, but certain things when I was asking about it, she was just naturally sharing those details. Jagannath Puri is a amazing place. Everybody knows about it, the power of that. And yes, after that, after she coming here, and she came here at a very, very young age, and she has been out almost all her life. For decades she has spent alone. She got married, she had children, then after that she lived a full life, rearing up the children, supporting the family, and taking care of the business, and almost like being the sole bread earner. These details she has not gone too personal with me, but I can realize when I look at her that she has gone through immense suffering in her life. That shows, the way one speaks, the way one reflects back on life, the way one is looking at life in the present, and the way one looks forward in the future. It shows that it has been immense suffering, because some statements like I told her that this is surely not your one life here. You have been certainly here in Tiruvannamalai many lifetimes, and her experiences, her visions, and her dreams, so clear-cut dreams she shared with Ramana and all that. I bothered to just remind her that they are not dreams. They are definitely astral travels. When your astral body leaves your physical body behind, and you literally have that clear-cut experience of somewhat like reality, and in a different space, different dimension, and beyond space and time. You can't define it, but that experience is there. It's very tangible with all these living, these great ascended masters. The kind of experiences that she shared, not one or two, multiple experience of her dreams revealed that it's It's most of it is astral travel. So that shows that how blessed a being can be. But the humility keeps one even not knowing the level of consciousness that one in. Perhaps it's for good only. But then when others can just look at it through awareness, they can notice how vast and how beautiful that state of consciousness is. Though there are present karmas, there are some present aspects of life which has to be dealt with, because there is a part of the prarabdha bhoga, prarabdha karma. So that becomes a little challenging. And as I told, I've mentioned in many other videos that when your karma thins, you are actually pulling in all other lifetimes also into your present, because that's a choice that you make, deliberate choice that you make, that I want to finish off with this repeated cycle of birth and death, and I want to exit this play. So, and that's very evident in her voice when I was just telling, you've been in multiple lives, and at the moment I said that, she said, not anymore. This is enough. This is going to be the last. That's enough. And though it was told in laughter, I could see there must be some pain in that. There must be some kind of intensity that, it's not just with her. I'm telling you, because I interact with a lot of spiritual beings who are on this path, and especially who are on the path of liberation, and I can see how hectic life is, including myself. So I can reflect my life also and look at others also. This is how I learn. This is how I learn about the process of the play of consciousness, of the soul evolution, the journey of the soul. And this is why I make it a point to share these details with you guys. Whoever can relate, whoever can hear this, it's for them. It's only for them. It's only for them. So these are about like-minded people who are on this journey of liberation, and what happens to them, what happens to us. And this is one person named Usha ji, who is a kind of inspiration for me also, and I'm sure she'll be an inspiration to many others, especially the females, because it's a male-dominated world, and if somebody is living, especially if somebody is living spiritual life, it's much more challenging in a world which is not yet awakened fully. A large percentage is still asleep in consciousness, so that makes it more challenging, especially when you are moving around with your gifts, your spiritual gifts, your spiritual abilities, your spiritual talents, the gifts that has been rendered by the divine. It's very difficult for the people to understand when you are trying to share that. And here is one person whom I see, if she is not able to share it in any other way, she's sharing through her karma yoga, through her service, through her attitude of selfless service. It's going on again and again. So this is a life example of another being who is being through a lot, and even is going through a lot of things. But I'm sure things are going to be much more brighter once we become aware. I'm not saying once the karmic baggage is over or the difficulties are over, life will just boom, become nice. Maybe that's another possibility. I'm saying the more you enter into awareness, the more you become aware of who you really are, and then you start staying in that real self of yours, than staying in this external false I. False I is the problem of all this. You get reactive to that, and you succumb to that. Especially where there are enough people to trigger you, to pull you down, and the world is just waiting for that. Not just the worldly people, even the spiritual people. Because the spiritual evolution, when it is not to a certain extent or a certain level of evolution, that consciousness can play a lot of games, play a lot of tricks with the ego, through the ego. And there also I see in my life, I see in others' life also, where you are constantly trying to be put down and all that. And triggers, somebody wants to trigger and tease, and often they want to test your levels, they want to bring your consciousness down to that level. So it's a very cautious journey that we got to be. And that's why all these great masters talked about so much about awareness and being centered in that, especially a place called Tiruvannamalai. Almost all the masters I see who are rooted in their self-awareness. All these masters. And when they're teaching that, if we learn to somehow shift into awareness, the shifting into awareness is that process where you shift from your mind to your soul, to your inner self. And it's not just shifting. When you shift, you get a glimpse of it, you love it, you enjoy it, and there is a confirmation, yes, something is different there. And then there will be an earnest desire to shift into that awareness permanently. That is what the spiritual struggle is about. The seeker, especially me, it's our struggle is towards that shifting and staying in awareness. Shifting in awareness is okay, we all know about it, but staying in awareness is what we are practicing. So I'm sure when these kind of practices becomes more and we become centered more on the self, irrespective of what the prarabdha bhoga is, the intensity of that prarabdha bhoga will automatically keep on reducing, since you are not in your outer periphery, you are more centered in your inner self. So with this, I think I made this video with a deep message, not just to show a person's life, but a deep message, because when I give this message with an example, a live living example, it becomes more clearer. So with this, I take your leave. Much divine love and light to all of you. Stay blessed.